Our next pieces of the puzzle is that we need now to connect the backlines here. Just for fun, before we do, it can actually be a little hack to, instead of saying point towards, if you sort of temporarily move that and then make sure you're at the mouse pointer instead, then you can see I can now change my fake perspective. I might actually do it, make it a little deeper. So you can see this is sort of the limitations that we are up against. But now the lines will sort of go for the mouse cursor. It's not absolutely perfect, but you get the drift. So we need to add 3 little building blocks. So the first block is that we need a bag, and we might call it empty bag. The bag is supposed to be a place where we can store points. So it's basically an empty bag, and in that bag we throw points into it. And we make sure, so we can make a little if statement where we verify. So we say if not, and if not means in daily speak, in human talk means if it doesn't exist. And then we have a little, it's called does variable so and so exist, and I can't remember where it is, but I'll find a link. But it's a good practice to do this, because then we can verify, does this variable actually exist? If it doesn't, well, then create global variable, and you need to call it point bag. And then we can easily afterwards set this point back to something, because now we know it's created. And if it, you can see it doesn't exist at this point. So I can try and run it. Yes, and we know it's a JavaScript thingy. And now I get an error message, yes, but now the variable point bag, as you can see here, has been created. That's why I now can set it to be just a list. And if I don't know what's in the list yet, I just make an empty list like so. I just close it all up. So that's that. So that's the empty bag. Then we need to tell how do we actually add a point. So what we can do is we can make a new block, and it's called add point. They don't always have to be extremely complicated. One shouldn't forget that. And then we say add, and then we can add a list of my voice is gone for today. So in the point bag, we can, where are you? There you are. So we can add 2 coordinates, the X position and the Y position. Much like when we are creating our push. In the push we would also have the direction. So that's all there is to it. When we say add point, then we add X and Y to the point bag. And that's that. So now we can empty the bag, we can add a point. And now we just need the final building block before the big, we can start. Yeah. So now we need to connect the points. And we need a list, of course, and that list is a list. So we'll give it a list and guess which list is going in here. Well, I think it's going to be hard to guess. So we are asking if the list we can ask, is there is a special block for it? Is this list empty? If it is, stop this block, because otherwise we are getting nowhere. Fine. And then implicitly, if it's not empty, then we go to X, which is item 1 of the list. But it's not only item 1, it's item 1 of item 1 of the list. And the other one, we can duplicate the Y. That is item 2 of item 1 of the list. And then we set our pen down. And then we do the little naughty bit. We make it recursive. You knew this would happen. So what we basically just say now is we want still to connect whatever point is in the list, because we know when the list is empty, meaning when we have done our thing, when the recursion has occurred. So we just need to rotate now that list. And we say we want the this list. So now we should be able to actually just connect however many points will be in the list. So these are the 3 remaining building blocks, and then we can start assembling the final piece.